And we're off, everyone. Grand finals getting started here.
Except for that one time, but we just talking about that one time.
Probably a predicted matchup for most people. Timon versus Dylan Miller. The other one you could have thought was likely to happen. Timon versus Luke Greiser. Greiser getting knocked into the loser's bracket by Dylan. Unfortunately, unable to seek his revenge, getting knocked out earlier than expected by Varun Mohanraj. Manu Singhal, Chris Mills on the mic, bringing you this grand finals on Speedcubing TV. And it's going to be an uphill battle for Dylan Miller against one of the greatest solvers of our generation, Tymon Kolasiński. He's going to get started here. He's going to need to have some amazing solving, not just mediocre, not just adequate, some amazing solving. And this is not there, not on this solve. 7-2-9 to start.
Too many mistakes in that solve for Dylan, and when you're going up against Tymon Kolasiński, mistakes are not allowed. He's going to have to iron out those creases if he wants to get anything against Timon. We know when they were up against each other in the winners final, he had an opportunity to get a set but couldn't capitalize. Hopefully he can get one here.
8 seconds.
Yeah, we'll have to see. I mean, Timon's going to need to make some pretty major errors in order to get a 7-second solve. Although his turning does not look the most fluid, but a good ZBLL gives him a 6.32.
Playing it safe towards the end of the solve there, just ensuring the cube is solved. Didn't need much to beat a Dylan that time, but a 6.3 makes you think, hey, maybe Dylan does have a chance, but Timon knew what he had to beat, so was doing a safety solve to ensure he got the first point of the match.
And it's smart from Timon, right? Because, you know, there's no reason to throw away a point in order to, you know, stop the timer slightly faster when you know that you're already ahead of a solve that for Dilly's was just basically a big mistake at the end, unfortunately. In the second one, looks like his F2L was a lot faster, although a little longer. 6.15 is the final result. And this one has a little bit more of a chance, but you have to imagine it's still going to be pretty quick work for Timon.
Yeah, a quick execution of the A-perm to finish and some solid turning from Dylan. Just not the greatest solution, leaving a 6.1 for Timon to try and beat now.
8 seconds.
Timon originally had either red or orange as this cross, but now he's switched over to white. M2, U2, M2, interesting. If that wasn't planned, that could have been a big mistake, and he actually gave one away, 670. Very uncharacteristic.
Big mistake from Timon, obviously not intending to do the M2 to M2 cross. Me and my friends from back home, we call that swag daddy. We had a group of guys called Speedcubers of the South. And back in 2016, one of us deemed that method swag daddy, and that has kind of spread across the world. So shout out to some of those guys back home, because I think they're watching today.
That's really interesting. I call that one Albert Cross, actually, from the great Albert Yu, the Cubics himself. He's the one who occasionally, he's like, oh, sometimes I just do that and it works. I'm like, okay, interesting. Albert Cross. These guys are definitely going to want to avoid stuff like that, though, as Dylan got to PLL really quickly, but looks like he didn't quite have the greatest execution to get a 633.
Solid time, and he got a 6 on the last one, which was good enough to take a solve on Timon. So as long as Timon solves the cross this time, I reckon he can beat a 6.3, but you never know.
Yeah, I mean, in the last one, getting that 670 after a weird error, but looks like he got to ZB pretty quickly, recognizing the soon ZB with no problem. 5.35.
The solve was not without its mistakes, some hesitation on the D moves in the F2L, but still getting to ZBLL quick enough to take the solve.
And so far, it's more or less gone as we've expected. I guess maybe that one next to Dylan's name is a little bit strange, considering it was a 615, not too bad of a solve from Dylan, but it was a 670 from Timon. That was certainly surprising. He's put himself in a decent position here. Wow, a lot of pieces look oriented there. Perhaps he can take advantage of some of those white and yellow pieces, perhaps. Taking all 12 seconds of inspection and got to OLL extremely quickly. This is a 4.81. Amazing solve from Dylan. You wanted to see a sub 5 from someone not named Timon? There you go, Chris.
Wow, that F2 out was great, but the hesitation once he got to OLL, that solve could have been so much better. Look at that. And then into the L perm, pretty poorly executed, but it was still a sub 5.
Yeah, definitely had a chance to get something really, really good, like a 4.5 or something. He's just set the pace against Timon. Timon is going to need to find that solution or better. But if anyone can find a more efficient solution, it would be Tymon Kolasiński. Here we go. There's that ZB now. 5.20, not good enough. And all of a sudden, we are 2-2 in the very first set of Grand Final. Dylan needing to win this match in order to reset the bracket. Then he has to win against Timon again. So he's in for a slog. And let's not mention, this is his third match in a row that he's trying to solve on.
Yeah, Timon could not find the solution Dylan found, and a bit of a UU prone to recognize that ZBLL might have cost him the solve there. A quick one, but not quick enough. 2-2, let's see what Dylan can throw down now.
He's going to need to do something very similar to what he found in that last solve if he wants to get a chance at resetting the bracket. 4.57, oh my goodness! That was some kind of skipping, all happening in a flash. And ladies, gents, and our friends beyond the binary, we have a match.
Let's watch this. So, back-to-back fours for Dylan. And what happened here? Just, yeah, a PLL skip.
Hey, like I said, it's not a crime to get lucky. Someone was going to get some kind of skip today. Can Timon beat 4.5? Even the wizard himself, not enough. 6.36, and Dylan Miller against all odds with two amazing fours back-to-back takes a set against Timon.
The gods have gifted Dylan some luck here, getting a PLL skip when it mattered. A 4.5 after a 4.8. I wanted a sub 5 from someone other than Timon, and I got two back-to-back. Dylan is leading in this match against Timon.
Oh my goodness, love the expression on his face. Once this replay ends, you're gonna cut to a big smile on his face. He knew that those were two very special solves. Who knows, if he might not win a single other solve between now and the end of Grand Finals, but he can definitely sleep good tonight knowing that he's definitely on top of the world.
Dylan is going to be gassed knowing he started the absolute grand finals of PSL San Diego with a set against Timon.
Ooh, Timon looks like he's kind of locked in on this particular orientation. White cross is the choice. Found fast turning, and now here's the ZB. RUD, not as clean as we'd like to see. 5.96 is the time for him. Beatable for Dylan, certainly.
Yeah, the ZBLL execution there is what costed Timon a great solve. Still, a sub 6 could definitely be good enough. But just a long ZBLL AUG and the lockup with a few moves to go, leaving the door open for Dylan to start this set with a win.
You know, I'm out here talking about like Dylan might be fatigued or whatever, but on the other hand, you know, he's got the hot hand right now. And sometimes when you're solving well, you just want to keep going. Maybe that's what Dylan's trying to channel. And another, oh my goodness! 3.49! Dylan Miller with a 3.49, a sub 3.5. Incredible solve from Dylan.
What was that? A 4, and then a 3. Dylan is on fire. This solve was incredible. Look at that. He's finished F2L so quickly. This solve was full step.
Full step?
No
full
skip.
step?
That was a full step.
Oh my goodness. And an incredible pop-off. Wow. Absolutely special stuff from Dylan Miller. He picked the right time to peak. Grand Finals of all places against Tymon Kolasiński. Timon now 5.16. Dude, even if you're Timon, how do you answer that when the opponent has taken 3 solves from you with sub 5s and you haven't managed to get a single one yet in this match?
Honestly, it's incredible that after the hype of that 3.49 from Dylan, Timon managed to come out here and get a pretty flawless 5.1. It's easy to just feel the pressure of the crowd and the aura that Dylan is swimming in right now after those 3 incredible solves. Let's see if he can keep it up.
What he needed to do, he needed to take that sweatshirt off. He was limiting his power. Now he's unleashed. Dilly Unleashed is on an absolute tear. Needs to be 5.16 in order to take this point here. Some good turning. Doesn't look like his solution is short enough, unfortunately. 6.12, and it's 1-1 in the set.
The sub 5 streak from Dylan has ended, but still a 6.1, a solid time. If he was at a WCA competition right now, he'd be on for a fire average of 5. But that does not matter
yeah,
here. It's
certainly.
all about who wins the solves.
Indeed, absolutely. Timon now being able to set the pace. I wonder if he feels a little bit more comfortable in this position, not necessarily knowing what the other, what Dylan has got. And again, not the cleanest solve from him. 6.78. I said it earlier. Timon looked a little vulnerable, and I wonder if not going back to back. I wonder what his warm-up situation looks like, because he just does not look like the Timon we're just known to see.
Yeah, I mean, when you're going up against a Dylan Miller who's on fire, you're going to be a little cautious and a little bit thrown off. And his ZBLL execution has just not been what we're used to seeing. And he's really given Dylan an opportunity to get up in this set.
Can Dylan convert? A big opportunity for him. 6.78 to beat. He's had some pretty good turning. And a very solid, very, very easy ZB there. 5.33. He is up. He's up 2 solves to 1 on Timon, and he might go up 2 sets to none.
That was an incredible solve from Dylan. That average of 5 is certainly sub 5. What is he on right now?
Surging Dylan, he's got his tail up. Tymon Kolasiński trying to fight back against it. U2 in order to do his recognition. 6.72. I wonder if Timon is just like, whatever, man. Like, it's fine. This set is over. He has actually 6 sets to lose before he's, completely knocked out of the tournament. So maybe Timon just using this as kind of a way to reset and just kind of let this one go by and collect himself. And he has a whole bracket reset to worry about.
Yeah, remember, even if Dylan wins this match, because he came from the loser's end of the bracket, he then has to go up against Timon again, because Timon is yet to lose, and you have to lose twice to be out of the tournament. So even if Dylan can miraculously win this match, he's got to go again right after.
Well, can he take advantage of that made pair in F2L? Yellow cross is the choice. Another really long solution, and the sloppy execution at the end is not going to do it. 8.07. He was not able to use Timon's 6.7 to his advantage, and it's all 2-2 now. This would be a huge swing. If Timon can win this solve, suddenly the set count has shifted from 2-0 to 1-1.
Yeah, Dylan giving up a great opportunity there, given that OLL once again, but then the nerves of knowing that he could be up 2 sets to 0 against Tymon Kolasiński.
Wow, and this is big, folks. Wow, I wonder, you have to wonder if Timon is feeling the pressure a little bit, because like I said, if he loses this one, that's a huge shift in the match. We could be talking about 1-1 right now, where the first 2 sets basically didn't happen, or we could be talking about 2-0 Dylan up in this first match in grand finals. Chris, let's just talk through the last 9 solves that we've seen. Dylan Miller, with his tail up against the best, one of the best in the world, is on fire.
Absolutely on fire. Looks like we're going to watch this 3-second solve right now. Remember, this solve was a full step. Okay, no, this is one of the 4s from earlier on, where he got a PLL skip. That was the second 4, the 451. And we were already talking about how no one had got another a sub 5 apart from Timon. Then Dylan got a 4.8 with some mistakes in the last layer. Then another 4, and then this absolutely flawless 3.49. Look at the reaction from them there. Full step. The second fastest solve we've seen in the PSL so far by Dylan Miller. Who would have thought? And yeah, he's up in this match against Timon right now. Is 2 solves each in this set. Timon obviously not feeling it, making probably the correct call to take a timeout, as he has not been doing some great solves in this set so far. Got lucky on that last one that Dylan didn't manage to beat a 672. And yeah, he's got an opportunity to even up the match now.
I mean, I think lucky is exactly right. I think Timon did get away with one there. Just not the cleanest ZB execution from him that we've seen. And 516 is really the best one that we've 516, the one that he got in the second solve was quite good. But apart from that, it just hasn't been as clinical as it was in the winner's final match. And you have to wonder what happened. I mean, the timeout is ending now. So Timon back in the seats. And that timeout could be very, very pivotal. Like I said, Dylan might not win another solve for the rest of PSL San Diego. Once again, folks, this is a huge solve here. Dylan Miller could go up 2-0 against Tymon Kolasiński. Needs to execute here. Fast ZB recognition, 502. Very, very, very solid. That is the type of time Timon needed, and that is going to put Dylan in a tough spot. He's going to need something magical.
You'd think that has locked him in for this set, but Dylan in this match so far has already had 3 solves faster than that, and 2 of them didn't even have skips. So Dylan is on fire. He could beat this, but it would take a monumental feat.
You have to wonder how Dylan reacted to that timeout, if he kind of got iced a little bit. Surely Timon was just looking to do well himself, and unfortunately the long last layer was not able to do it. Dylan actually had a huge chance there of potentially taking this one. Not sure if it was a +2. It doesn't really matter at the end of the day. And Timon got away with this one. How did Timon win this set? Just crazy. Just crazy.
Yeah, that solve from Dylan was a +2. Looked like he actually had a chance to take that solve, which is incredible against a 502. Dylan is going to be kicking himself on that solve before this, where all he had to do was beat his 6.72, and his solve was looking good enough. Then the nerves hit him when he was executing the PLL. And this solve here, some pretty seamless execution, but the +2 at the end, and also just wasn't quite fast enough nonetheless. And Timon has evened it up at 1 set each. And you're going to think maybe that's the end of Dylan's absolute pop-off. Timon is back in it now with a low 5 in, just securing that set. And who knows, maybe Dylan can throw down some more incredible times, but that might be it for him. And honestly, I think he would be pretty satisfied to end the match after that incredible feat of solving.
I mean, that 3 definitely had to make his day. I'm sure this is basically as far as Dylan was expecting to go, having practiced a ton against Timon this entire week in between Berkeley and San Diego. But his turning is just looking so good in the F2L stage right now. 5.87, a great solve. Very, very comfortable for Timon to do if he can just lock in. And maybe this post-timeout Timon is going to show up and just completely end this show right here.
That solve had so much potential from Dylan, but the lockups in the PLL might have just cost him this solve.
5.87 to beat. One of the best in the world. Soon ZB is the play. 5.54. Little fist bump from Timon. Timon is back, ladies and gents, and all of our friends beyond the binary. And he's up 1-0. He's won now 3 solves back-to-back against a surging Dylan Miller.
As I said, yeah, those lockups in the PLL for Dylan on the last solve might have cost him the win, and it suddenly did. Timon only 0.3 seconds faster.
It's amazing. Dylan has gotten really close to taking a set off of Timon. Also in winner's final, don't forget that. That was also huge. And his smooth execution, unfortunately, falling apart here. 6.99, not quite good enough to get a sub 6. And this might be it. Like I said, that solve that that Dylan won, that might have been the last one.
Yeah, the solve there for Dylan, just a little bit choppy on the last layer. Looks like he did something twice when he wasn't supposed to.
Here's Timon now, very smooth, very smooth, turning through F2L. Only complaint you could have is maybe a little bit on ZB recognition and the very last turn, but very comfortable, up 2-0. This is much more of what we're used to.
Yeah, Timon is back, and he is not letting Dylan get another solve on him. He is looking to sweep this third set and put him up 2-1 after almost being down 2-0. Dylan, he still has a chance to claw some points back.
If he wants to win this one, he's going to need to reverse 3-0. One of the hardest guys to reverse 3-0. If anyone's going to do it right now, it's Dylan Miller. 626, just barely not sub Mitch, but almost certainly is not going to be sub Timon. Especially after that timeout was really important for him. I mean, he was going after 2 6s when he took that timeout. After that, Timon has gotten a 502, 554, and 538. He's solving lights out. 6:26 the time to beat, and it's just too comfortable for Timon. 4.84. Wow, that is a Timon set. The Titan Timon has woken up from his slumber. He is now up 2-1 after winning back-to-back sets. Very dramatic fashion, and he only needs one more to close this out and put an end to PSL Berkeley. Oof. Wow, what could have been? What could have been on that? Just a couple of solves here and there are going to decide the entire fate of this grand final. And you have to think that Timon's decision making there, realizing that he had a timeout, that's something that is not available if you're like at a WCA competition or in like other formats. And being able to use that and use it to his advantage, genius. Just genius.
Yeah, Timon is back. That timeout he used seems to have been crucial in securing a solid lead in this match. Timon only needs one more set to become the champion of PSL San Diego, going back-to-back after winning Berkeley last weekend. It's not over yet, but it's looking like it may go Timon's way.
Of course, both these competitors using this as huge preparation for the World Championship, and this type of stage is exactly what you want to do if you want to prepare for that. Not sure if it was H or Pi, but he ended up with a Mitch 625. Surely that deserves a large applause from the audience, but Timon definitely not happy with that.
No, if I'm not mistaken, I think he might have got to OLL accidentally and then done Furuf to get to his ZBLL. And then getting an H case, which is not ideal, just leading to a not great time. Must have made a mistake at the end of his F2L there.
So Dylan has a chance here, just needs to solve similarly to as he was doing before, and that required smooth F2L and some good PLL, just like this one. Almost threw it away there, 604, and he's taken another solve off of Timon.
Great save from Dylan there, dropping the cube with an M move to go, which would be a +2 at PSL competition, and that would have given him the loss against Timon 6, but very quickly picking it up to correct his mistake. That's the risk of the MUU perms we've talked about, but still he managed to get the win against Timon.
Yeah, I mean, he put himself in a position where even with the cube drop, he was very far ahead. We're definitely going to need to take a look at the replay here, because that is not a Timon solve. 774.
It's not over, folks. Timon has just got a 7.7, giving Dylan the opportunity to go up 2-0 in this set. Here we go here, just messing up a multi-slot and then just completely losing the plot for the rest of the solve. The ZBLL was not quick enough to recover, and Dylan's given an opportunity.
Dylan is he's a highway robber right now, and Timon just let the door is wide open. The CCTV cameras are completely off right now. It's his to lose this solve. Just needs to beat 774, and he's gonna do it comfortably. 5.7, and he is up 2-0. He might take this set again. He's in another good position.
He is stoked to be in this position right now. It only had to beat a 7.7 and had an almost flawless solve there. A very clean 5.7. Great turning in the last layer and nailed that R-perm for the first time this competition.
Now, can Timon reverse sweep and end the entire competition right here? An incredible solve from him, 4.37. He's pumped. It means so much to him because Dylan is almost certainly not going to beat that. Just incredible.
Just when you think Timon's out of it, he comes swinging back. A 4.3, a flawless solve, doing a ZBLS, which gave him a PLL case. And a good celebration from him there. He knows how much that means.
8 seconds.
It's not over, folks. Dylan does still have a chance. 437, very, very difficult to beat. He's going to need to find a miraculous solution and have good turning, but he's going to get a pretty solid one himself. 5.64, 2 solves Dylan, 1 solve for Timon.
That's back-to-back 5s for Dylan, actually. Even though that one lost, it was still a very good solve with his notable Y-perms. They're very quick. But Timon, obviously, with the 4.3, he's going to take that solve and look to take this one as well.
I feel like it's a good position that Timon is in, is solving first. Not having to know what the other person is getting means that he can just focus on himself and try and get the best possible time. And this one is pretty solid, although a couple of uncharacteristic mistakes leads him with a 6.24.
6.24, this is so beatable for Dylan. He's just got 2 5s before that. If he just gets another one of those, the sets will be up 2-2 and we'll be tied for this match. This is so much closer than anyone would have thought.
Actually wild, right? Like I did, low-key, I'm sorry, Dilly, I thought he was going to get swept 3-0. And like I thought each one was going to be 3-0. But this is very, very interesting. Dylan up on set point. And this is a great start. Exactly what you want if you need to beat a 6. 5.67. The characteristic bang right there. And we're all tied up, folks. 2 sets to 2. Dylan Miller, Tymon Kolasiński, Grand Finals.
Bang, bang, but Timon is not dead yet. It is 2 sets to 2. And remember, although this is the grand final, Dylan came from the lower bracket. So if he beats Timon, they reset the whole match and they go again. Because you have to lose twice to be knocked out of this tournament. And Timon has been flawless so far, beating all of his opponents. Until maybe now, 2 sets to 2. This is so close.
Is it one thing that's wild is Dylan in this environment has pushed Timon further than Maddie pushed Timon in their grand finals match last week. What world are we living in? Like, yeah, like I'm saying, Dilly, great solver, but like, what? He's really showed up here, and Timon has just looked just like a bit off the pace, unfortunately, and it's all just tying up to great big drama, and that's the wonderful world of speedcubing, I guess. Oh my goodness. The deciding 5th solve of this first half of Grand Finals. Potentially the last half if Timon can capitalize. There's Dilly. Flawless execution once again. 507, and he has put the dart right near the bullseye.
What a start for Dylan. Some flawless turning. I said earlier I wanted him to have flawless F2L turning and flawless last layer, and that happened right here. A bit of a mistake doing a U' before doing the U-perm, but 507, that's tough to beat.
This is nuts. Like, I mean, Timon is amazing, don't get me wrong, but an exec error in F2L means he's already lost it here. 5.74 is not good enough, and Dylan Miller in set number 5 is up 1 solve to nothing.
We're seeing a Dylan Miller I feel like we've never seen before. We've seen glimpses of hope from him from competitions before, but this is on another level. going head to head with Tymon Kolasiński and currently winning. That is insane, and he's gonna just have to try and keep it up for the next few solves.
Oh man, they're going blow for blow. 4 5s back to back to back to back for Dylan Miller. Can he make it a fifth? 5 5s in a row? Not quite. 6.51 is going to be the time here. And who knows? I mean, at this point, I would have been like, oh yeah, Timon, comfortable, very easy, doesn't need to worry about it. He might need to worry a little.
651, you still gotta worry. It's not like if you just make a mistake, if he does the wrong ZB or if he takes a little bit too long to recognize it, that's good enough to lose the solve. So it's not a free win for him.
Yellow Cross is the choice here. Just an amazing F2L. No, absolutely no problems. Edge is already oriented. 5.62. What's really interesting is his turning looked really fluid there, but he still ended up with 5.6. When I looked up, I thought I was going to see like 5.4, 5.3 or something like that.
Yeah, a lot of moves to do. Not some great cases for the F2L. Two of the really ugly ones into a pretty nice ZBLL. Yeah, the turning was fluid, but a lot of moves to do. But still good enough to beat Dylan.
Yeah, we're all tied up 1-1 now. Dylan's going to need to... He's going to need to keep throwing bullseyes if he wants to keep this up. But he's got the hot hand right now. Some sloppy turning, unfortunately, in the tail end of F2L has kind of set this one off the beaten path. 6.75.
Not quite good enough there, although you never know. Looks like he had a lot of edges oriented, so a pretty good opportunity to just spam his way through the rest of the solve. But just a few mistakes, some turning errors there, cost him an opportunity to challenge Timon on this point.
Yeah, unfortunate. And Timon's got a really good chance to go up 2-1 here, and that would be huge for him. You know, we're talking all about Dylan, but if Timon can just claw back, which it looks like he's going to do right here, Timon now is one solve away from just ending it all, and it just won't even matter that Dylan had an amazing run. He got a 3 in there. It's just going to be Timon, and it's just going to be him, just at the top solo.
Here we go. This could be match point, tournament point here. If Dylan doesn't throw down a pretty solid solve here, Timon is just going to take it. But he's done it before. Can he do it again?
Oodles of edges that are oriented here. Just needs to execute. A little bit of hesitation in OLL and a Z-perm potentially. 5.86. Very possible that Dylan ends up getting this one, but a tournament point, if you're Timon 586, definitely there could have been a lot worse when you're coming up to this.
What happened in this OLL here? Looks like, what did he do? 2-look OLL? I guess maybe it was OLL CP, but he was given a Z-perm, so it definitely wasn't worth it. Honestly, quite lucky that it still ended up being a sub 6.
And here we are. Timon needs to solve flawlessly to win PSL San Diego. 5.86. Can he beat it? Oh my goodness, it's just too simple. Oh my goodness, a huge cube drop, but he's got it. 5.71 in dramatic fashion. Dylan Miller gave him a run for his money, 3 sets to 2. But oh my god, Tymon Kolasiński, when it came down to it, backed himself and he did it.
Champion Tymon Kolasiński!
Just when you thought it was over. Wow.
Just amazing. Here's the solve that won it. Go for it, Chris Mills.
Yeah, the solve was looking flawless, and then as he got to the last layer, it was looking like it was all over for Dylan. This ZBLL, bit of a pause, but great execution. But towards the end, he drops the cube one turn away, grabs it. Looks like he's lost the solve, but he gets it done just in time. A bit of a sloppy way to win. Definitely not quite as flashy as he finished last week. But still, a win for Timon is a win for Timon.
In second place, winning a prize of $250, Dylan Miller! And our back-to-back PSL champion, Timon Kolasiński!
Lift that check up high, and you gotta be proud for this one.